This video is going to be about the UNIQLO seamless down parka that I'm wearing here. I don't really make videos like this often, but I decided to make this because when I was looking to buy it, there was a lot of information I wanted to find, so we'll just jump straight in. And by the way, this isn't sponsored by UNIQLO. I just, really like their clothes. I'd love to be sponsored by them. So starting off, I'm 5'10", 178 centimeters, and I got the medium jacket. So I was kind of in between the medium and large, and I think I made the right choice because this fit is pretty good. The only thing I'd say, is maybe the bottom could be a bit longer, but to be honest, it's, below my waistline, and if I put my arms up, it's still, like a really good fit. I'm 70 kilograms and it's pretty slimline, it's not too bulky. So I think it's a really good jacket, to be honest. And the cuffs have these kind of like skin tight linings where, they kind of stick to your wrists, and, it doesn't keep going over your watch if you wear one, and it doesn't ride up and down, as you move your arms. So in terms of warmth, it's around 6 degrees now, but I've worn it when it went down to around 2. And I can just wear this with a t-shirt underneath and I'd still be warm. So with the hood as well, it just kind of keeps that whole neck and head area. I've seen some people say, this jacket does not keep you warm, it's very cold, and they've returned it. They must have got a dud, this jacket is extremely warm and I would recommend it. So I got the olive color, which is part of the range of colors that go on sale often. So I got this for £89 at 90p, as opposed to the more popular colors like the grays and the blacks and the browns, and they usually go for £130. So a pretty good deal on a jacket like this. Pockets, we got one on the inside here on the left. Pretty deep pocket, it goes down quite far. Put a couple of things in here like your glasses case, stuff like that. And you got one on the inside, only on the right. This one's, you could fit a little book in there kind of thing. And they fasten with these little kind of like button clips like that. And on the front, you got, 2 pockets here, which have this kind of like very warm lining on the inside. These will keep your hands warm if it's cold outside. And they got zips here as well. The UNIQLO zips, people, think they're kind of cheap, and, they do look that way, but they're very durable, they last a long time, and they're just very smooth, and they just work, to be honest. I've never had a zip break on any UNIQLO zipped items, and I've had the ultralight down parka for around 2 years now. So that is doing strong, a bit dusty, but I'll talk about this later into the video. I would say though, if you're going into like shops and cafes often or whatever, you can overheat in this, it is that warm. If you want a jacket that's more kind of breathable, let's say for like hiking or just going indoors a lot, I'd definitely recommend the ultralight down one because it keeps you warm, and when you go inside, it also lets you cool down quite easily as well. However, that wouldn't be very good in terms of just wearing a t-shirt underneath. You need to layer properly with that one. You need to have a base layer and then also maybe like a jumper on top of that. So in terms of features as well, you got toggles for the hood, to tighten that. You got a little kind of square here that you press and a little string cord that you pull there. And of course, if you want to put it back, you just kind of clip them both and just, pull out the hood. It's also got waist toggles, both sides here, so to pull the waist in. I don't use these, the jacket's a perfect fit for me, so that's pretty much fine. So it is water repellent, and I have walked in the rain in this in England. Here we don't have very strong rain, it's quite light, a bit misty, and it kind of sits on the surface and bubbles up, and you can kind of shake it off. I wouldn't really wear it in, stronger downpours. Let's say if you're walking in strong rain for like 5 minutes, this will definitely get wet and soaked. And that's not very good for down at all. In terms of washing, like most down products, they recommend only hand washing. And I washed this previously. This is the ultralight down jacket. I haven't washed this one yet because it's pretty new. And at first I thought I ruined it, but after puffing it out a bit, it came back to its normal shape and warmth. The only thing was, it didn't really get rid of odor. They recommend washing it with some kind of like down washer in, like a bathtub or whatever. And it still kind of smelled a bit. So I think it probably needs to go through a more thorough wash. Maybe a very light hand wash in the washing machine, but try that at your own risk. So for materials, the shell is polyester and the fill is 90% down and then 10% feathers. And for kind of like the softer components, the fabric, that's like polyamide. Quite a basic overview of that, but there is a label here that kind of breaks it down for you as well. So the actual shell of the jacket is very durable. It's quite tough compared to the ultralight down jacket here. This is a very kind of soft, and it almost seems like, if you catch it on a twig, it might break and tear. I wore this and caught it on quite a few twigs on my cycle adventures, and it never actually tore under those circumstances. It was a bit more durable than I thought, but it does feel very weak. It did in fact tear though when my cat jumped on the chair it was on and just clawed it, which is a bit sad, but it was a very small hole. It was a kitten. So yeah. So in terms of jacket weight, this one weighs around 560 grams, which is pretty light. But I imagine on a hike, you'd want something a bit lighter. That's why you should go for the ultralight version. I have noticed though that the ultralight down Parka doesn't seem to be on sale on the UNIQLO website anymore. They just kind of dropped it down to the most ridiculous price of like £10 per jacket, and they've all sold out, and it's been like that for a couple months. Bear in mind, I haven't really visited a UNIQLO store in a while since I moved away from London, so they could still be in stock there. But I just thought that was kind of strange. And the ultralight down jacket weighs around 250 grams, so less than half, so it's pretty good. So in terms of packing away, this one can compact, the air does come out of the down, but it doesn't come with a stuff sack, unlike the ultralight down jacket where that's kind of designed to be stuffed away and really compressed down. This one is, double the weight, and it's just kind of like for an everyday kind of jacket, not really to be taken on hikes and stuff, unless, let's say, you're like in the Arctic or whatever. So yeah. My cat's also trying to play the piano behind me.